In this video, I'd like to talk about the new Tudor Ranger that they announced, what Tudor did well with this release and what they missed out on as far as opportunities for improvement. Is this a poor man's Rolex Explorer? And how does this compare to the previous generation Tudor Ranger? Is this too boring of a watch release? Were we slightly let down as watch enthusiasts looking for the next release from Tudor? I'd like to touch on all of these aspects. I would like to give grades to Tudor for this release in this video. But first, let's start with some basic specs and then we'll get into each one of those aspects. Now, this is a 39mm diameter field watch or sports watch with 12mm in overall height from the back of the closed brushed case back to the top of the proud domed sapphire crystal. So pleasant dimensions there and a dominant brush finish throughout the watch, on the case, on the bezel, on the bracelet, and how that ties in nicely with your subtle texture found on the black dial. I like the simplistic layout here. I think this is strong with its cleanliness, with its symmetry. I like the fact that we have 100 meters of water resistance in a signed screw down crown at the 3 o'clock position. I like the fact that we have a 5-year warranty on this manufacturer Tudor 5402 movement, which is the same caliber found within the Black Bay 58. This will have 27 joules, a 4 hertz beat frequency, and roughly 3 days of power reserve, 70 hours in a chronometer certified movement. Now let's talk about what Tudor did really well with this release. I think the first thing that kind of pleasantly surprised me is the price. This is $800 less at retail than a similar Black Bay 58 on bracelet. This will have similar dimensions, similar specs, the same movement, but again, far more affordable as far as the retail price goes. So I think this is indicative of Tudor wanting to expand the entry-level sport option to a wider range of individuals. The Black Bay 58 is already regarded as one of the best entry-level luxury divers on the market with a good in-house movement. This one, I think, takes it to the next level with being more affordable and being a field watch as opposed to a dive watch. So really well done on the price from Tudor's point of view. Now, I like the fact that this is 39mm. I think the size is on point. It works on a wide range of wrists, but it's not too big. It's not too small. I think with the Rolex Explorer going 36mm and the Rolex OP going up to close to 41mm, there is a desire for a 39mm field watch from either Rolex or Tudor, and this fills that void. I like the fact that we have a good bracelet. I like the fact that there is no faux rivets on the step of the design. And I like the fact that we have the new T-Fit clasp. So this will have on-the-fly adjustability to dial in that fit as your wrist expands and contracts as you engage in different sport watch activities in a variety of environments. The last thing I'd like to compliment Tudor on is the fact that they have just brought the Ranger back into the lineup. The Ranger name has been around for decades. In fact, it was a little sad that we had breaks without a Ranger being in the lineup. So the fact that it's back and it's packed with specs at the right price is just a great thing. Now let's talk about what Tudor missed on. The first one is personal opinion here, but I lament the fact that any heritage-rich Tudor model, modern release, does not have the Tudor Rose logo on the dial. The previous generation Ranger had it on the dial, but this one has the shield on the dial and the rose in the signed crown. So I would like a little bit more cohesion. I think it would be stronger if we had that lovely original Tudor logo, the rose, found both on the crown and on the dial. I think that would make this a better watch. But again, personal preference with that. What I think is not personal preference is the fact that we do not have good anti-reflective treatment on this field watch, and that is an important element of a sports piece. You want at-a-glance legibility, and unfortunately, from real-world pictures and videos that I've seen recently, there appears to be a lot of reflections on this proud domed sapphire crystal. Now, the last thing that I think should be mentioned here only applies to those of you that have larger wrists. My wrists are 7.25 inches in circumference. And from previous experience with the fabric strap option from Tudor, I'm usually on the last or the second to last hole in the strap. So they are really only made for those of you that have a traditionally sized wrist or smaller sized wrists. If you have larger wrists, I don't think you will like the fabric option. It will feel too short, and you would be better served going with a bracelet option, which, in my opinion, isn't a controversial statement to make because the price difference between a strap option and a bracelet option is only $300, and you are getting the new T-Fit clasp. So I think it's just a no-brainer to go with the bracelet option and add other strap options to increase versatility at a later date. Now, is this a poor man's Rolex Explorer? No, it's not. I think that is a dumb statement or a dumb question made or posed by non-watch enthusiasts. Arguably, this new Ranger is what the Explorer used to be. The Explorer used to be an explorer's watch, an adventurer's watch, a field watch taken into extreme environments, taken to Mount Everest, used by adventurers. And really, it was a functional, cool, and attainable piece. And now the Explorer is really a luxury 36 millimeter option that is now offered in two-tone. It doesn't feel like the roots or the heritage of the watch intended, if that makes sense. So this Ranger being fully brushed with a great movement, with the right size, with the simplicity, with the toolish feel, this feels like what the Explorer used to be. And sadly, I think there will always be those that will look down upon the most affordable entries in a brand. I don't think that's going to be changing, and it's a rather sad aspect of our hobby that we share together. But on the bright side, there are affordable entries in a multitude of different brands that have attained that level of respect from collectors that generally play at the higher price segments. I'm thinking of the Seiko SKX or the 5KX. I'm thinking of the Hamilton Khaki. I think there are models that really stand on their own merits, and this Tudor Ranger appears at first glance to me, my impression, to be that type of model that can garner respect from any number of different collectors that play at any number of different price segments. So, is this watch better than the previous generation Tudor Ranger? In my opinion, yes. The dial is cleaner, the bracelet is better, the size is better, the movement is better. We no longer have those ridiculous straight end links in the bracelet. In fact, I think the only thing I prefer about the previous gen Ranger is the fact that it had the Tudor rose on the dial. Other than that, this new Ranger is an improvement in every way, and it is very faithful to the original Rangers that it is based off of. Is this too boring of a watch release? As I gauged social media reaction to this release, I think most watch enthusiasts were rather meh or ambivalent toward this watch, which I think is a little funny, but expected. With almost any new release, watch enthusiasts are generally negative or critical, and it's not until months down the road that there really is enthusiasm building behind a model in, again, most instances, not all instances. But I don't think this is a boring release, not at all. This is a value-rich field watch with great history. It has all the specs and elements that I look for in a sports piece outside of good anti-reflective treatment. The price is surprisingly low. It's the Ranger. It's come back into the Tudor lineup. I don't think this is boring at all. This is great. This is exciting. And I'm glad that Tudor has released this watch, has reintroduced the Ranger. So I'm going to give top marks to Tudor with this release. I will grade them an A. I think outside of anti-reflective treatment and outside of the personal preference opinion of having the rose logo on the dial, this is an excellent release that is value rich, has the elements that I'm looking for, has the specs that I enjoy, and I'm tempted personally. I'm looking forward to seeing one in person. I'm looking forward to filming one in person, getting the macro shots, getting the wrist rolls, the loom shots, and handling that new T-Fit clasp. Overall, I'm excited. I think this is a good release. Let me know what you think Is this too boring? Is this better than the last generation Ranger? Is this a poor man's Rolex Explorer? Did Tudor do really well with this, or did they miss on some opportunities? Please share your opinion in the comment section. Thank you for watching today. I really appreciate it. I hope you have a great day. I'll see you next time.